Hi, thanks for coming on. Andy with you here on Thursday, November the 18th, looking ahead to games in Scotland. And just to say, I'll be back tomorrow and we'll look at the non-league. There's not a great deal tomorrow in the non-league, so it'll be a quick one. But there is some really, really good value, particularly in one game. A team that's over 3-1, sort of virtually double the price. We'll go through these results quick before we get into it. Just to see where we are, because we've not had a look. Sort of October, that was October's complete 25, 13, 52%, 15.64, profit on investment 58.07. Really good month for us. That followed on from 16.98 July and August, September 2.98, October, as I say, 15.64. November so far, 12 bets, 5 winners, 41% and 1.2. So in profit every month so far. Last week wasn't the best week, was it? Not at all. And November's not been brilliant, but as I say, we're still ahead. So let's get on with this weekend stuff. Scottish Premiership, just 3 games. Dundee United, Aberdeen, 40, 23, 37. Interesting. Dundee United. Now, there's a little table at the end that I want to come to in terms of the value of this weekend, because it's quite a poor weekend. When I looked at it last Sunday, it looked really good on my figures, and then when I saw the prices, it wasn't so good, and that's something we'll go through at the end. Dundee United, Aberdeen. Now, Aberdeen have only won away once this season, and that was on the 8th of August at Livingston, and it was a goal in injury time that won them the game. That's their only win on the road. Now, Dundee United have won 3 of their last 4 at home. I mean, it's a game which, Dundee United are rated to win, and there's 0.7 in it. It's an obvious one, if you like. I'm not saying it's a good thing, because there's only 3% between the teams, but in terms of value, it is the highest value bet of the weekend. In terms of teams rated over 40, and I'll come to that at the end of the video. Well, we can have a quick look at it now, actually. This is a table. Now, I was going to put this on the end, but I just thought I'd show you quickly. These are teams that are rated over 40% in the Scottish Coupon this weekend. Now, 15 selections, only 6 of them are value bets, and only one of them, Dundee United, contains value of more than 0.27. So you can see what sort of week it is. There is more value about, but it's in bets rated in the 30s, etc. So you've obviously got a lot less chance of those coming off. But it just goes to show, I mean, and if we look, that is the Premiership, and if we go down, that's Championship. So there's not one value bet in the Championship over 40%. All three of them in League One, and 2 out of 5 in Scottish League Two. So, I mean, it's ridiculous in terms of value this weekend. I mean, look at that, 0.05, 0.09, 0.15. And then we've got 0.27, then this jump up to 0.7. So, I mean, not saying that we have to back teams rated 40 and there's value in it, because, there's other things to take into consideration. It's like Queen's Park, I wouldn't touch them. And I wouldn't touch Stranraer either. But, it's just such a poor weekend. And obviously, when I looked on Sunday and I saw these figures here, I thought we were going to get some decent prices. But the prices are so tight this weekend compared to what I was hoping. And yeah, so it's just something which was interesting, because 40% is a good sort of benchmark of a rating. Obviously you've still got 60% chance these bets here are going to lose 57, 56, etc. But when you factor in the value, you've got a team here, 47, 65, 51, 48, 54 and 40. Bar Dundee United, all of these are really sort of in and around the 50%, so sort of, 1 in 2. and there's value in it, but such a small amount, and just a real frustrating coupon. Motherwell Hearts 33, 27, 40. Again, there's 0.5 in Hearts, but at 33%, it's up to you, isn't it? Now, they've lost the last two at home, Motherwell, but it was to Rangers and Celtic. So if you can forgive that, I mean, Hearts have lost only once on the road, but I think they've only won one in the last 5. So it's a game that sort of smacks of a draw. But whether you think 5-2 about Motherwell is worth chancing, it's entirely up to you. But obviously, there's a 67% chance a bet's not going to win. Particularly when you look at the game at the bottom here, St Mirren Livingston 38, 24, 38. Now, you get a team rated 38, which is 5% more than Motherwell, and you're getting 1.58 for your money. Now, I think that's extraordinary value, I have to say. Now, Livy, they're unbeaten in 4, and they did draw 0-0 at Celtic last time out, and St Mirren have won once only at home. So, you know, that's not all I'm going to base my case on with Livingston, but from the outset, there is quite a strong case can be made for Livy. You know, if you wanted to play it with caution, Livingston double chance could be the way to go, or Livingston draw no bet. But, you know, I'm just saying that is 38% a fair enough rating, and that's really, really, really good value, because I've got both these teams in at 13-8. I wouldn't be touching this. It's, you know, it's bordering. It's even money, isn't it, bar 0.05. I mean, even money for a team that's won once at home all season. Regardless whether St Mirren win or not, you make bets like that, you're never gonna make any money at this game. You know, and it's not like they've had Rangers at home every week or stuff like that. But that's a good value bet. I mean, that's okay, and that's okay. So, you know, if you said, right, Andy, I'm just going to do Dundee United, Motherwell, Livingston, I'd say, yeah, I think all of those teams are value. But obviously, none of them, bar Dundee United, are rated to win. I mean, Livingston and St Mirren are the same. Hearts rated to win that game, and Dundee United are rated to win that game only by 3. So there's nothing there that I could say to you, oh yeah, get on it, it's a good thing. But there's value in the prices. Championship, Queen of the South Inverness 33-24, 43, tongue-tied. 0.75 in Queen of the South. I mean, again, that's good value. It's whether you trust them. They're a funny side. I've never been able to call Queen of the South a Morton right, which is why I don't bet them. I wouldn't touch Inverness at 11-10. I think that the position in the table flatters them. They're bang out of form. I think they're a mid-table side, and I don't think they'll be in contention for promotion come the end of the season. If they are, it's only because, you know, there's a lot worse than them. But I see Inverness as sort of mid-table team, I have to say. I wouldn't put you off this. 0.75 at 33% is fair. Dunfermline there, 44, 22, 34. 11-10 I couldn't have about Dunfermline. They got the first win last week, but again, the price is ridiculous. When I priced this up and thought 5-2, I thought, I don't know, maybe you might get 6-4 or something about Dunfermline, but I think that the bookmakers have been so wary of them all season. They've underpriced them, and like I've said many a time, I'm told they're better than what they are, and the information I receive is, oh, it's going to happen soon, and I couldn't take 11-10 about a team that's won once all season. And 0.6 in air, it's fair enough. It's sort of run of the mill, isn't it? It's not quite on par with that, but it's 0.15 less in terms of value, and they've got a 1% chance more of winning. But if you're going to back Air and Queen of the South, just bear in mind that they've got a 67% chance of losing. They've got a 66% chance of losing. That's not me being negative. That's telling you how it is. Kilmarnock Arbroath, I think this game's priced up bang right. Evens 50, 26, 24, even money. The draw's roughly right. Arbroath's roughly right. There's nothing in the game. Kilmarnock should win. They're not good things. I think you could find better even money shots than Kilmarnock if you look hard enough. Partick Hamilton 56, 24, 20. again, I was hoping there might be something in this for us this week, but there wasn't. I think 8-13 is a bit short. 20% Hamilton 4-1. There's half a point in it. It doesn't interest me. I'd want a lot more in that than, I'd want double that and more to be getting involved in Hamilton. I'd want probably a point and a half. They'd have to be 11-2 really for me to get involved. And, I normally like a point or more at 20%, but because of the way that Hamilton have performed this season, I'd want 11-2 minimum. Before I thought about getting involved. We're not going to get that, and I think Partick are far too short, and I don't think Partick are, bank jobs. I mean, like last week when I said to you, I think that Cove was because everybody says to me, what's the strongest bet, what's going to win? Partick doesn't fall under that same category that Cove did last week. I'm not saying that Cove are value because they were priced right, weren't they, if you remember, but Partick don't fall into that same category. And neither does Wraith, 57, 22, 21. That's probably near enough. 0.4 in Morton doesn't interest me at 21%. I like Partick, like the game I've just spoken about, I would expect Wraith to win. But it's not something I'd want to bet. If these two won 4-0, it wouldn't surprise me. If one of them lost, it wouldn't surprise me, or one of them drew and one of them won. If you back it in both, they've both got to win, and those bets just aren't for me, I'm afraid. 0.4 in Morton's not enough. I think the Championship, it's quite funny that Queen of the South, the best value in the Championship's Queen of the South, and I think that's more indicative of where Inverness are, because on my workings out on bits of paper, I've got a down arrow next to that, which is quite a big down arrow, so they're heading in the wrong direction, and as I say, they're badly out of form. League One, Airdrie Cove. I think this is a real tight game to call. This looks to me as though it's sort of draw material. 39, 25, 36, 8-5. There's 7-4 available. It's not enough for me. I wouldn't be touching Cove at 11-8 either. It's far too short. This is one of those games where, again, like I just said about another game, any result here wouldn't surprise me. And there's not enough in it to back Airdrie, and obviously there's nothing in the draw or Cove. So interesting game, because we are on Airdrie on the outrights, aren't we? So, and they're top at the moment, and fingers crossed they can win. Alloa Dumbarton 54, 22, 24. Alloa, they're the other team that we're with on the outrights. It's tempting. I think they'll win at the weekend. I think Alloa at 54% is better than Partick and Wraith on those figures. Although the figure's not as high, I'd be more confident about backing Alloa to beat Dumbarton than I would Partick and Wraith to win their games. I think Alloa should be odds on. When I put this in at 5-6, I was thinking, we're probably going to be 4-5. Had a look, 11-10, 0.27 at 54% is okay. I think that's decent enough. It's nothing earth-shattering, but as I say, I do think Alloa should win this. Dunfermline are badly out of form. The only sort of caveat to add to that, if you like, would just be that Alloa seem to raise their game, don't they? It's like when they've played the Falkirks and Coves and that, they've got results against them, and games like when they've played Peterhead, I think at home, you expect them to win and they don't. That's the only sort of slight negative I'd have with this bet. So just bear that in mind if you're thinking about going and smashing in. But as I say, I think they should be odds on. 11-10 is fair. Clyde East 5, 48, 26, 26, 0.15 in Clyde. I think it's a fair enough bet. I don't think there's anything in it, and I think, it's short enough. I was hoping that we get a bit more than that, but, East 5 there, as we've known for a long, long time, they're no great shakes on the road, and it's the form at Bayview that they rely on. I couldn't really back Clyde with that amount in it, 0.15. And I don't think there's any point in backing East 5, and certainly not the draw. It's a game, I think, to swerve. I think the next one is as well. Falkirk Montrose 37, 28, 35. Even money Montrose, I think, is massively underpriced. I mean, you can see how close I've got it, 37 and 35. I don't think it's really anything between these two teams. And Montrose are a decent team on the road, and Falkirk aren't trustworthy enough for me, anyway, to back them. I mean, look, 17 to 10 is, we sort of 13 to 8 is what I was expecting them to be priced up at, something like that. But I think to find them evens is far too short. There's a bit in Montrose. 0.33 at 35 is nothing brilliant, but there's a third of a point extra, and as I say, I've got them in at 15 to 8. So the difference between the two teams in terms of prices is quite significant. Evens and 13 to 5. Peterhead Queen's Park 27, 22, 51. Look, my thoughts on Queen's Park. I think they're struggling to break teams down. I think they might have more joy on the road because when you're at home, the onus is on you to go and attack. And I think Queens sort of keep the ball, don't they? And teams sitting deep, and it's hard for Queen's Park to break them down. And I think they have more success when a team sort of comes to play. And you'd expect Peterhead to try to win this game at the weekend, being at home. But in saying that, I think 0.05 at 51% doesn't interest me at all. So it's not a bet I'd want to have. I did think they should be slight odds on Queen's Park. I give them that much respect, and that's purely, as I say, because of the away form. But there's not enough in it, and Dave, if you wanted to back them, don't let me put you off, because as I say, they're rated to win, but the recent form is a concern. League Two, Annan Albion 45, 24, 31. I think this game's near enough right, isn't it? I think, I've got Annan in 6 to 5. They're 11 to 10. There's not a great deal of discrepancy there, and there isn't with the Albion price. There's 0.2 in Albion. 0.2 at 31% doesn't interest me. It's not a bet I'd want to have. I think it's a game to avoid. I think Annan, they're a tough team to call, Annan. They really are. It's, you look at, you can build a strong case for them against certain teams. I did the other week and couldn't see them not winning, and they end up getting beat, and they're a funny side. To be fair, Albion are in decent nick, but it's not a bet I'd want to have. Forfar Cowdenbeath 65, 22, 13. I got them in at 8 to 15. They're 8 to 13. 0.09 is, it's not a lot, is it? I mean, I think they'll win. It's as simple as that. It's, it's, as I said about the bet last week with Cove, if someone says to me, give me one winner this weekend, I'd have to say Forfar. And you're getting 8 to 13, about an 8 to 15 shot. So there is value in it. And, there's a 65% chance they're going to win this match. Can't see how Forfar can't win unless concentration or, they take it for granted. They've just got to turn up. They're by far the better side. They're decent at Station Road. I'd expect them to win. And as I say, there's a bit of value in it. Not good things. Exactly the same as I said about Cove last week. If you want my strongest bet of the week, this would be it. Forfar to beat Cowdenbeath. I'm not saying go and put your house on it, but I do expect them to win. It's the top rated. There's a bit of value in it. There's nothing that I could say to build a case for Cowdenbeath. The only thing, as I say, is whether Forfar just think they've got to turn up, and that's it. Kelty Stenhousemuir 59, 23, 18. There's 1.5 in Stenny. I think it's decent. It tempts me. It really does. I mean, Kelty at home, they're very negative at home. It's, they set out more not to get beat at home. I mean, last week, I think, was it the week before? I can't remember. They beat Forfar 1-0, didn't they? And they don't score a lot at home. And Stenny have won the last 4. And I think, from memory, they've lost twice away all season, Stenny. So they're in really decent form. Lost twice away all season. They shouldn't be 6-1. My problem would be is that 82% of the time this bet's going to lose. So if I were to give you this bet 100 times, 82 times, it's not going to come in. It's a bet that's going to make you money in the long term. It's just a question of whether you think that, you can handle the bet losing 82% of the time, because that is what's going to happen. I think this is poor value. Twos on it's, I got them sort of 58.7 or something, so I've rounded it up to 59. And as I say, 6-1 is fair enough about Stenny. They could be bigger. I wouldn't put you off, but we have to be realistic. Kelty are unbeaten. They've not lost a game all season. And I mean, the way they're shaping, they're not going to lose a game all season. But there will, I'm sure there'll come a time when they do get turned over. I remember a similar situation with Cove. It quite reminds me of this from, people might remember 2 or 3 years ago when I gave Alan to beat Cove in the odd Racing and Football Outlook. This had a sort of similar profile, if you like. I think Alan were in form. They hadn't lost or something for quite a while at home or something like that. And I just felt that day that there was such a strong enough case for Alan. They were far too big at 17-2. And this has got a similar sort of makeup. But I think Kelty are a tough team to beat. I really, really do. But I think if they with Stenhousemuir's tails up, like I say, it could be this weekend. It's whether you want to take that chance, but you're being handsomely paid for it. Sterling Edinburgh 48-23-29. Don't trust Sterling. 11-10. They're 21-20. It's similar. It's 0.10 in Edinburgh. They could just turn up and get a thumping off Sterling. But I wouldn't want to pay to find that out, and I'm certainly not going to back Edinburgh at 5-2. Stranraer Elgin finally 47-24-29. There's 0.27 in Stranraer. I don't trust them. I've got them in at 11-10. 0.27 at 47% is okay. I think the rating's high enough. It's just the fact it would have a down arrow next to it, and I'd have a sort of neutral arrow, something like that. Next, like I've put at the top there stupidly, I'd have something like that next to Edinburgh, and a down arrow next to Stranraer. So it's whether you think it's value. There is value in it at 0.27, but it's not something I really want to take a chance on. Bets like this can afford to really leave alone. So, I mean, that's it. I think Four Fire is, the best bet of the weekend in terms of, gun to the head, Andy, what's going to win. Four Fire to beat Cowdenbeath. Second best bet for me would be Alloa to beat Dumbarton. And if we go to the table at 40%, we'll see Alloa 54.27, 4-5, 65.09. So, and my thoughts on Dundee United. I think there's plenty in there. Whether they're going to be members' bets or not, I don't know. I mean, I've not fully made my mind up there. And as I say, I need to sort of see if they can pick up any team news tomorrow. But as I say, when I went through the coupon last weekend, I had some really good, highly rated teams here, as you can see, 48s, 59s, 65s, etc. But when I saw the prices, it was really, really disappointing. Because 6 from 15 isn't great, and that's, if we look at this, just take this look. Dundee United and Hearts both 40%. They've both got the same chance of winning. You find one at 11-5, one at 5-4. There's a 0.95 swing. That's almost a point swing between the two. In terms of value. So, why would you want to back Hearts when you can back Dundee United at that price? But that's it. I think it's quite a tough weekend. But as I say, gun to the head jobs Four Far, and I think Alloa will win as well. I hope they win. And that's it. And I'll be back tomorrow night, and we'll look at the non-league. That'll only be sort of 5 or 6 minutes long, because there's not a lot to go through on the non-league, but there is one team that is absolute standout value, and we can make a really strong case for them. And I'll tell you that tomorrow night. So that's it. Back Friday.